Again, I'm inspired by multiple different mediums. Musically, Ryuichi Sakamoto is one of my heroes. Akira Kurosawa, Sergio Leone. Here's some painter pantheon. Henry de Toulouse-Lautrec, Tamara de Lempicka, Tim Sale, Ruben Pelliero.
Okay, enough. All right, sit down. Sit down.
Okay, yeah. My name is Aodh Riagáin and I live in Lisbon. We are in Caquilas Port. It's one of the outer Lisbon districts, I would say. I don't know what history this is trying to preserve, but a lot of fantastic imagery here. Look at these kind of sages, this sort of pig character. Best of all, lady with 3 arms, and you have the plain penis man, 1997. This was a year before I was born. I have dyspraxia, and one aspect of dyspraxia is that the way you form sentences is kind of word by word. Dyspraxia, it is a neurodivergence. Generally, the way people understand it is you're clumsy. That's why I'm always running for things, I'm always late for things, always losing things. I like when people's dress sense is their own. You have your costume, and that this is the costume that you wear, and Rita has her costume, that's the costume that Rita wears. I consider a lot of what I'm doing to be, in the circus tradition. And so there's an aspect that you're peacocking. You're creating enchantments. You're trying to make yourself a spectacle of a certain kind. Hey, welcome. This is where the magic happens. I use a combination of a brush, pen, and ink. For me, that's the joy of hand-drawn arts, is getting to touch the ink, getting it on your face. That's when it's most joyful. This is a variety of work from illustrations to comics. These are a lot of things based in Irish mythology. That's a huge area of interest for me in terms of subject. So I do hand-drawn animation. A lot of the projects that I'm working on are long-term. For example, I'm working on some graphic novels. As you can see, this is very hefty, and this requires me to pencil each page, ink. So as you can imagine, it takes a long time.
You're crazy, man.
Yeah. And I work on multiple projects.
But you admit that you're crazy.
I admit that I'm crazy, absolutely. I like to treat the mediums like fingers on a fist. And if you can understand pattern in one medium, usually it can pass into the next. I love birds. In the pre-Christian culture of Ireland, they kind of believed in the idea that you would be reborn, and often it would be in the form of a fish or in the form of a bird. And that's the key symbol of Lisbon, is the 2 ravens. Trying to give Rita some light freckles. So my name is Aodh Riagáin, but this is obviously a name which is quite difficult to spell for some people. So hence I have got this moniker Oreganillo. The Oregan comes from the English spelling of my name, and the illo I consider to be short for illogical, because a lot of times when you show somebody your crazy creative work, they have this reaction of being a little bit shocked by the strangeness of it. So yeah, this is stamped on absolutely everything. Oreganillo. James Joyce's Ulysses, one of the best. He's the Irish equivalent of Fernando Pessoa. He has a great book called Ulysses, but it takes place over 24 hours in Dublin. What it tries to capture is just being in a certain place, in a certain time, being surrounded by unique characters, and the same thing can be said for Lisbon. Just being here at this time, the characters that are here, many of which you have been featured on People of Lisbon, it's a privilege to be a part of it. part of the continuum. So this is a neuron. This was gifted to me by one of my best friends who was a neuroscientist, and we have thousands and thousands of these in our brain. And for us to make one movement, thousands of these have to have a Mexican wave that finally lead to one piece of movement. In a lot of ways, I'm trying to have that mentality in terms of other people, in terms of communication, in terms of the work that I make. You're trying to signal to the other neurons so that hopefully you can get a mass movement going. But it always starts with one neuron flashing off. And I think art can contribute to healing through stories, through patterns that give people catharsis for the pain that they have. You know, the role of the artist is to be a psychopomp. And a psychopomp, it's the person who rides the boat on the river Styx. As somebody who's been through a certain amount of loss, I hope to put forward the wisdom that I have into the work that I'm doing and contribute to some healing, contribute to some wellness, something that makes people not feel so hopeless about things. Maybe there's something in there. Okay guys,
That's a wrap.
be well.